Hello everyone, welcome to Homeschooling channel. Today we are going to start part 2 of Lines and Angles chapter. If you haven't watched part 1, I would request you to watch part 1 first, clear a few basics there, then come to the part 2. So let's start this video. First we are going to learn about transversal line. When these are two parallel lines and one line that is going vertically like this is called a transversal line which intersects parallel line. When a transversal line intersect a line like these two lines, then it forms four angles. Each line forms four angles, so these four angles are denoted as 1 2 3 4. Similarly, the other line has when it is intersected by a transversal line, it also forms another four angles. So there are some properties of these angles which we have to learn. So first we will see vertical angle, or we can also call it as vertically opposite angle. So what are vertically opposite? So like this, angle 1 and angle 4. So these two are vertically opposite angle, and these two angles are always equal. Similarly, angle 2 and angle 3 is vertically opposite angle. Similarly, if we go in these four angles, then 5 and 8 are vertically opposite angle, 6 and 7 are vertically opposite angles. Now what are alternate angles? So uh, these are alternate angle 3 and angle 6. These are alternate. You can also call it as alternate interior angle. So these two angles would be always equal, angle 3 and angle 6. Similarly, angle 4 and angle 5. Now let's go to the other angle, that is called corresponding angles. So these angles are also equal, like angle 2 and angle 6 are equal. Similarly, angle 1 and angle 5 are equal because these are corresponding angles. Similarly, angle 3 and angle 7 will be equal. Angle 4 and angle 8 would be equal. Angle 2 and angle 6 will be equal. So these are corresponding angles. So we have to remember vertically opposite angle 1 and 4 like this. Alternate interior angle, that is angle 3, angle 6, angle 4 and angle 5. Now we have to find, now there's one more concept called as interior angles. So as we can see, it forms, if we this is a transversal line, then this will form a parallelogram if we join this line. And we have read in parallelogram that two adjacent angles, interior angles, are always equal. So similarly, so interior angles, that would be angle 4 and angle 6 would be equal to 180 degree. Similarly, these two interior angle, angle 3 and angle 5, would be, the sum would be also complementary, that is 180 degree. So these are the concepts that we have to read for this video. Now moving on to the questions. Question number 1, line L1 and L2 intersect at O. So this is line L1 and this is L2 intersecting at point O, forming angle as shown. X is equal to 45. So this angle is 45 degree. Find the value of other angles, that is Y, Z and U. So first we know that angle X equal to angle Z, which would be 45 degree because it is vertically opposite angle. So this would be 45 degree. Now if we take line L1, so in line L1 And so the sum of these two angles, angle y and angle x, this will form a linear pair. So the sum would be of these two angles, angle y and angle x, would be 180 degree. So in line L1, angle y plus angle x is 180 degree because it is a linear pair. So as we know, angle this one is 45 degree, 180. So angle y would be 180 minus 45, that would be 135 degree. So this is 135 degree, and angle u would be equal to angle y because that would be 135 degree because both the angles are vertically opposite angles. So this would be also 135 degree. So in the in the question it is given that find the value of y. So y is 135, z is 45, and u is 135. So you have to find an option in which it is given 135, 45 and 135. Now moving to the next question. In question number 2, three coplanar lines intersect at point O. So these are three lines, AB, CD and EF, and it intersect at point O. So we have to find the value of x, y, z and u. So we have to find the value of these four angles. So in this already two angles are provided. So this this is 90 degree, this is 50 degree. As we can see, line AB, then the sum of these three angles would be 180 degree. So on line AB, so sum of these three angles, that would be 90 plus 50 plus angle U would be 180 degree. So angle U would be 180 minus 90 plus 50, that would be 140. So angle U would be 40 degree. So this angle would be 40 degree. So u and x are vertically opposite angles, so this would be also 40 degree. Similarly, y and 50 degrees, this angle and this angle are vertically opposite, so this would be 50 degree. And this one, this angle and angle z is also vertically opposite angle, so this would be 90 degree. So in the question it was find the value of x. So x is 40 degree, y is 50 degree, z is 90 and u is 40 degree. So 40, 50, 90, 40. So you have to find the option in which in this sequence degrees are given, angles are given. Now moving to the next question. So in the given figure, POQ is a line. So this POQ is a line and ray OR is perpendicular to line PQ. So this ray OR is perpendicular to line PQ. OS is another ray lying between OP and OR. So OS is another ray between OP and OR. So we have to find what is the ratio between angle ROS and the difference between these two angles, that is angle QOS minus angle POS. So let's take this angle, angle SOR is equal to x. As we know that this is a linear pair, so the sum of all the angles would be 180 degree. So if this one is 90 degree, so sum of these two angles would be 90 degree. So this one would be also 90 degree. So if angle SOR is X, and so this angle would be, as we know that these two angles would be 90 degrees, so we can write that angle POS would be 90 minus X. So this angle would be, angle POS would be 90 minus X. So now we know both the angles. Now let's see angle ROS. So angle ROX, that would be X, and we have to find, so would be let an angle QOS. So angle QOS, so that would be 90 plus X minus the angle POS. Angle POS would be 90 minus X. So the ratio would be 90 plus X. So if we take out 90 minus X out of the bracket, so 90 and minus minus, that would be plus. So the ratio would be 2x. If we take, so one time, so the final ratio would be 1:2. So the what, as per the question, what is the ratio between angle ROS and the difference of angle QS and POS? So the ratio would be 1:2. So this is going to be your answer. Now moving to the next question. In question, A, B, C, D, E, F are three concurrent lines. So A, B, C, D and E, F are three concurrent lines passing through point O, such that OF bisects BOD. So as we, in the question it is given OF bisects angle BOD. So it, so if this, if OF is bisecting this whole angle, then if this one is 35, then angle DOF would be also 35. So uh, as we know that this is a linear, these angles, these AB is a line, and all, sum of all these three angles would form a linear pair. So on line AB, angle AOD plus angle DOF, that is 35, and angle FOB, that is also 35. So sum of all these three angles would be 180 degree, because it is a linear pair. It is a linear pair. So angle AOD would be 180 minus 70, that would be 110 degrees. So this angle would be 110 degree. So in the question we have to find angle BOC. So angle BOC, so we already have found angle AOD, and these two angles are vertically opposite to each other. So angle BOC would be also 110 degree, and we have to find angle AOD. Angle AOD, which we have already found, that is 110 degree. So both the angles would be 110 degree and 110 degree each. Now moving to the next question. In the figure, line AB and CD intersect at O. Okay, line AB and CD intersect at point O. If angle AOC plus angle BOE, so this angle and this angle, the sum of these two angles is 70 degree, as an angle BOD is 40. So this one is 40 Angle BOD is 40, and angle COA is vertically opposite to this. So the vertically opposite angles are same, so this is also going to be 40. And from the question we know that angle AOC and angle BOE, sum of these two angles are 70 degrees. So if this one is 40, then this one would be 70 minus 40, that would be 30 degree. And as we know that AB is a line, and the sum of this angle, and this angle will form a linear pair. These three angles will form a linear pair. So the sum would be 180 degree. So if these two are 70, and so 180 minus 70 would be 110 degree. So this is 110 degree. So let's see what we have to find in the question. Find angle BOE. So we have to find angle BOE, that is 30 degree, and angle COE. So angle COE would be 180 minus these two angles, that would be 70. So that would be 110 degree. So your answer would be 30 and 110. Now moving to the next question. So these are concept check questions. You have to tell that the statements are true or false. So in the first statement, angle forming a linear pair are supplementary. So what is a linear pair? If there is a line and there is a ray going through it, so if so these two angles, the sum would be 180 degrees, so that is supplementary. So yes, the statement is true. If two adjacent angles are equal, so let's say this, in an adjacent angle, we in first part we have read that it should have a common vertex and a common arm. So this is a common arm and this is a common vertex, and these two angles would be called as adjacent angle, as we have read in the part 1 of the chapter. So in the statement it is given that if two adjacent angles are equal, then each angle measure is 90 degree. It is not always true. As you can see that these two angles are equal. If this one is 35 and this one is 35 degree, so it doesn't mean that every time if both the angles are equal, then it has to be 9, each angle should be 90 degree. So it is not true, so it is a false statement. Now in next statement, angle forming a linear pair, can both angle be acute? So if this one is, and this is a ray like this, so can both the angles would be acute? No. If in a linear pair, if one is acute, that is less, as we have read in for part 1, acute is an angle which is less than 90 degree, then the other would be obtuse. Or if one is obtuse, then other would be acute. So as per the statement, angle forming a linear pair can both be acute? No. False. This is a false statement. If one is acute, then other would be obtuse, and if one is obtuse, then other angle would be acute. Now moving to the next statement, if angles forming a linear pair are equal, if angles forming a linear pair are equal, these, then each of these angle is measure of 90 degree. So this is a linear pair, and angle formed by linear pair are equal. It can be only equal when a ray is perpendicular like this and both the angles would be 90 degree. So yes, if angles forming a linear pair are equal, so if both are uh, if both the angles are equal, then the measure of both the angles would be 90 degree. This is the only possible case, so this one is true. Now moving to the next question. So few more concept check questions. We have to fill in the blanks to make the statement true. So if one angle in a linear pair is acute, so if this is a linear and if this is acute, then the other angle would be obtuse. If this is acute, then this would be obtuse. That would, if acute means less than 90 degree, then the other angle would be greater than 90 degree, that is obtuse. So we have to write here obtuse. Now next statement, a ray stand on a line in the sum of, so a ray stands on a line, this is a ray, then the sum of two adjacent angles so formed is, so the sum of these two angles would be supplementary. Supplementary means 180 degree. So the two adjacent angles so formed is supplementary or 180 degree or 180 degree. Now moving to the next statement, if the sum of two adjacent angle is 180 degree, if the sum of two adjacent angle, if this and the sum of two adjacent angle is, so this is the only possible case, if the sum, then the arms of the two angles are in opposite direction. So as we can see, this is an arm and this is an arm, so then both arms are in opposite direction. So this is your concept check questions. Now moving to the next question. In figure AB, CD, AB and CD are, line AB and CD are there, and there is one more line L. Angle 1 and angle 2 are in ratio 3:2. So we can take angle 1 as 3x and angle 2 as 2x. And as we know, on line AB, these two angles will form a linear pair. So angle 1 plus angle 2 would be 180 degree because it is a linear pair. So we can write 3x plus 2x is equal to 180 degrees. So 5x is equal to 180. Hence x would be 180 by 5, 36 degree. So now this angle would be 36 into 2, that would be 72 degree, and this is 3x, so 3 times 36, that would be 108 degree. So angle 3 is vertically opposite, so this would be 108 vertically opposite angle. Then angle 4 and angle 2 are vertically opposite angle. Now angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding angles, so this would be 72. Angle 3 and angle 7 is corresponding angle, so this is also 108. Similarly, angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles, so angle 1 is, so this one would be 108, and angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding angles, so both of them will be equal, so this is going to be 72. So we have determined all the angles. Angle 1 would be 108, angle 2 would be 72, angle 1 and angle 3 are vertically opposite, so both will be equal. Angle 2 and angle 4 are vertically opposite, so both would be 72. Similarly, we can take one more concept here, that if we know this angle, as we know the interior angles, the sum would be 180 degree. So angle 3 plus angle 6, sum of these two angles would be 180 degree. So if we know one of these angles, then the other would be 180 degree minus this angle. So this is how we're going to find all the angles. Now moving to the next question. In the figure, AB is parallel to CD. So these AB is parallel to CD. If we extend this line like this, and if we see this one as a transversal line, so if this angle is 70, so this angle would be also 70. The whole angle would be 70. So as we can say that angle BAC is equal to angle ACE plus angle ECD, because it is alternate interior angle, alternate interior angle. And there is one more thing, that this is interior angle, angle E, and this angle, sum of these two angles would be angle E plus angle ECD. The sum would be 180 degree. So if angle E is 130 degree, so angle ECD would be 180 minus 130, that would be 50 degree. Angle ECD would be 180 minus 130, that would be, so this angle would be 50. As we know, and some of these two angles are 70, this angle and this angle. So if this one is 50, then this would be 20 degree. So in the question we have to find angle ACE. So angle ACE would be 20 degree. So this is going to be your answer. Now moving to the next question. In figure, L is parallel to M, N is parallel to P. These two angles are parallel to each other. Sorry, these two lines are parallel to each other, and these two lines are parallel to each other. As we know, angle 1 is 85. So this one is 85. As we have read that these two are corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are equal. So similarly, if we take this angle, so angle 3 would be corresponding angle, so both the angles would be same. So if angle 1 is 85, then angle 3 would be also 85. And as we know, angle 2 plus angle 3 are interior angle, so their sum would be 180 degree, as these two angles are interior angles. So the sum would be, if we know angle 3 is 85, so angle 2 would be 180 minus 85, so that would be 95 degree. So hence angle 2 would be 95 degree. So this is going to be your answer, 95 degree. Now moving to the next question. If you like the way I teach and want to buy a comprehensive course for SAT exam at a very affordable price, you can download our app from the App Store and start your self-paced preparation from pre-recorded videos provided in the course. My course also includes chapter-wise practice questions along with 20 test series at par with SAT exam. You can find all the links in the description below. Now let's move to the next question. Now in this question, In the question it is given that two unequal angle of a parallelogram are in ratio 2:3. Find all its angle in degree. So as we know, let's draw a parallelogram. This is our parallelogram. So as we know that opposite angles are equal in a parallelogram, these opposite angles are always equal in a parallelogram, and sum of two adjacent angles, any two adjacent, it can be this one, or this one and this one, sum of two adjacent angles are always supplementary, that is 180 degree. So if we take A, B, C and D, so the question is given two unequal angles of a parallelogram are in ratio 2:3. So if this one is 2x, then this one is 3x. And as we know the property that sum of two adjacent angles is supplementary, that is 180 degrees. So angle C plus angle B is 180 degree. So 2x plus 3x, that would be 5x, hence x would be 180 degree divided by 5, that would be 36 degree. So angle C would be 2 twice into x, that twice into 2 into 36, that would be 72 degree, and this angle would be 3x, angle B would be 3x, that would be 3 into 36, that would be 108 degree. Now these two angles, opposite angles, are always equal, so angle D would be equal to angle B, that is also 108 degree, and angle C and angle A are opposite angle of a parallelogram, so these two angles would be also equal. So if angle C is 72 degree, so angle A would be also 72 degree. So these are all angles of the parallelogram. A would be 72, B is 108, C is 72, and D is 108 degree. Now moving to the next question. In the given figure, transversal intersect two lines M and N. So this one is transversal line, and it intersect two lines M and N. Angle 4 is 110 degree, and angle 7 is 65. This one is 65. So is M is parallel to N? We have to find that is M parallel to N, true or false. So let's take as we have read in the basics, that when two, let M is parallel to N to be true. So we, as we have read in the basics of this video, that if these two lines are, then we have various angles like vertically opposite, corresponding, alternate, and interior angles. So let's check they are true or not. If we have to find the statement that M is parallel to N, so as we have known that two parallel lines intersected by a transversal, then it has various angles. So we have to check all the angles are equal or not: vertical, corresponding, alternate, and interior angle. So if in the question it is given angle 4 is how much? 110 degree. So angle 1 would be, so these two angle 1 and angle 4, these two will angle 1 and angle 4, both of them will form they are they are linear pair, so the sum would be 180 degree. So if angle 4 is 110, then angle 1 would be 180 minus 110, that would be 70 degree. So this is 70 degree, and angle 1 and angle 5, angle 1 is equal to angle 5, that would be 70, because these are corresponding angle. So angle 1 and angle 5, and angle 5 is equal to angle should be equal to, because if these two lines are parallel then these two angles should be equal, but they are not equal. If these two lines are parallel and there is a transversal line, then these two alternate interior angles should be equal, but uh, this one is 65 and this one is 70, so this shows that these two lines are not parallel, hence the answer would be false. No. Is M is parallel to a no, so this is false. Now moving to the next question. In the figure, AB is parallel to CD, AB is parallel to CD, and CD is parallel to EF. Okay. And GH, GH is parallel to KL. So we have to find angle HKL. So we have to find this angle and this angle, sum of these two angles. So what is going to be the, so if these two lines are parallel, we can extend it like this. Similarly, we can extend this line. Okay, now as we know, this is a transversal line and these two lines, this line and this line is parallel. So we as we have read in the basics of this chapter of this video, that these two angles are corresponding angles. This angle and this angle would be corresponding. So if this angle is 60 degree, then this angle would be also 60 degree. And as we know that this this angle and this angle are alternate interior angles. So if this one is 25 degrees, so this is also going to be 25 degree, because this angle and this angle are alternate interior angles. So if we know this angle, so then we can also say that this angle is 60 degree and these two are interior angles. So the sum would be how much? Sum would be 180 degrees. So if this one is 60, then this would be 120 degree. And in question we have to find angle HKL. That would be angle AKL plus angle AKH. So we from here we can find that angle AKL is 120 degree and angle AKH, so this angle is 25 degree. So this sum would be 145 degrees. So this is going to be a answer. Now moving to the next question. In figure, PQ is parallel to AB. So we can PQ is, so we can extend both of them like this, and this one also. Okay, and PR is parallel to BC, so we can extend this one like on this. As we know, in the question it is given that angle QPR is 102 degree. So if this angle is, and these two angles, this angle plus this angle would be how much? As these are interior angles, this angle and this angle, so the sum would be 180 degree. So this angle would be 180 degree minus 102, that would be 78 degree. And as we know that this angle and this angle, these two are parallel lines and this is a transversal, then these two angles are alternate interior angles. So if this angle is 78, so this angle is also 78, because both the angles are alternate interior angles. So if so in question we have to determine what is angle ABC, that would be 78. Now moving to the next question. In the figure, line AB and CD are parallel. AB and CD are parallel. Point P is a and P is any point as shown in the figure. Show that angle APB, the angle APB and angle CDP. Sum of these two angles are equal to angle DPB. So we can prove this question. So if we draw let's take another line parallel to CD and AB. Let's take this as RS. Okay, and now let's take these two lines, line CD and line RS. Okay, CD and RS. So, and this is a transversal line, so this angle and this angle would be equal. Okay, because these are alternate interior angles, so this one and this one would be equal. Similarly, this angle and this angle would be equal. Okay, because if we take these two as a parallel and RS and this one as PB as a transversal, then these two angles would be equal. So we can say that angle CDP is equal to angle DPS. Let's take this one as equation 1, and angle ABP is equal to angle BPS. So from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2 we can write that angle ABP plus angle CDP is equal to angle DPS, angle DPS plus angle BPS. So angle DPS and angle BPS. So if we sum of these two angles would be angle D, this angle and this angle would be angle DPB. So it can be written as angle DPB. So hence angle ABP plus angle CDP is always equal to this angle. So you always have to remember that if there is so sum of these two angles would be always equal to this angle. So you have to remember that you might find a few more questions like this, so you have to remember this. If a figure is something like this is given, then these two the sum of these two angles would be equal to this angle. So you have to remember this. This is an important thing. Now moving to the next question. So this would be true. Now moving to the next question. Fill in the blanks in each of the following to make statement true. So first statement, if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal. So this is a parallel line and it is intersected by a transversal, then each pair of corresponding angle, so this is corresponding angle, are always equal. Similarly, if two parallel lines are intersected by a transversal, then interior angle, so if these are two parallel lines and then the interior angle on the same side of a transversal are so these two angles, interior angles, would be are supplementary. Sum of these two angles would be these two angles are 180 degrees, so we can write supplementary. Now moving to the next statement, two lines perpendicular to the same line. Two lines two lines are perpendicular to the same line. So if this is a line and two lines are perpendicular to the same line, are these two lines would be parallel, so they would be parallel to each other. Now two lines to the same line are two lines to the same two lines parallel to the same line. So these are two lines and this one is an other line. Two lines to the same line are parallel. So all these three lines would be parallel to each other. Now moving to the next statement, if a transversal intersect a pair of line in such a way that the alternate angles are equal. These are two lines and these are two lines transversal intersect, so this is a transversal intersect pair of lines in such a way that the alternate angles are equal. So these two angles are equal. It can be only equal when both the lines, as we have read in the beginning of this video, that if these two lines are parallel and a transversal line, then the alternate angles would be equal. So these two angles would be equal only the pair of lines are parallel to each other. Now moving to the next statement, if a transversal intersect a pair of line in such a way that the sum of interior angles on the same side of the uh, is 180 degree, then the line is also parallel. So this is the end of part 2 of this chapter, lines and angles.